Very good morning to everyone. Today, I'm presenting AmpleLogic here and trying to talk about how the digital twin and also technology adoption in the pharma. So let me share my screen. So this is all about digital twin in pharma and the technology adoption. What is the current state of automation in pharma? You see, there is a good amount of automation available in the pharma industry, and I'll just talk about wherein there are many medium and large scale companies have got really a good amount of automation that has been available in, especially when I talk about the generics or a bio industry. But wherein small organizations are like they're trying to get into an automation. But this automation has been helping the organizations in terms of even during the COVID times, it helped the remote working of some of the quality assurance department and the HR departments. Does these current systems help in the distillation roadmap? Because there is one we are talking about an automation and other area we are talking about a distillation. So what is the difference between these two things? Now, when you talk about an automation is nothing but inserting a technology into an existing process. You are following certain things which currently manually, and when the organization has been grown from 100 people to the 1,000 people company, you cannot manage the manual processes. So that's where you go for an automation, and that automation is really converting your existing process into your automated process. So electronically you can manage the things. But when you come to the digitalization, it's not about just converting an existing automation process, existing manual process to your automated process. It is more about using the data and try to create some kind of decision making models by the system itself. That's where digitalization is about creating a new business designs, and by using a digital technologies in combination to blur the boundary between the physical and the virtual worlds. There are certain decisions in the organization can be taken by the software systems itself by using some kind of algorithms that have been pre-built in the software. So the digitalization needs a business transformation, which leads to a good amount of effective utilization of resources and also the productivity improvement. And problems, even though when there are the organizations has got the systems like ERPs, like most of these organizations are having an ERP systems or the QMS, electronic QMS, document management systems, and learning management systems, LIMS, and some of the organizations are having in manufacturing execution systems. But yes, these systems are automated, and wherein again there is a big gap in terms of the applications talking to each other. When there is a need, the departments talk to each other. Whether there is a need, then whether the applications are been talking to each other or not. For example, in the DMS, you have some data with some timestamps, and whether the same data and timestamps are being available in the LMS. So these are all some of the issues what the industry has been facing, even though there is an automation in place. For automating, why this is the reason? For automating any kind of process, you choose one of the best products of the world. Then once you automated that process, when it comes to the talking to another product or an application, then it is really a big challenge in terms of the cost of integration and the technology that the systems are being shared. Coming to this, even though there is an automation exists in the organizations, and we have seen there are some challenges which we try to list it down here because specific to different areas. If you look at an R&D, even though there are organizations, some of the organizations are being using an electronic lab notebooks or some of the LIMS software, but still there is a big challenge. There is a huge raw data developed during the experiments, and which is hard to track and conclude. And lack of learnings from the project failures, because the systems are being so just like it's been used to just put in information and make sure that required job to be done, but wherein we are not trying to that user raw data that's been coming out from the systems. Laborious work to best your reuse of experiments, reusing the experiments which are similar in nature. So that is unable to do that because it is again going to be laborious. If the systems can able to help you in terms of giving you the proportions, okay, this is a similar product, you need to do only the first level of thing you can able to handle with the software, and the second level will go with the humans. And now when you look at the manufacturing side, we see the less OOE and the downtime calculations are really a big challenge. High OPEX in terms of when you talk about energy utilizations and all. The short-term demand planning and the product change over time. So this is one of the major challenge, even though when you do a very good for your runner products or non-runner products also. So this is really creating a big challenge in terms of the demand planning and the product change over times. Ineffective shift management. The shifts are not being planned very effectively. And because of these automated systems are not giving any suggestions with the past data. And the manpower planning is really a big concern, what we have seen. And again, on top of this, again, how much has been raw material has been required, whether it is even the same thing applies to the R&D also. Raw material planning is really, again, a big challenge, which should be come out as a part of the planning systems. And now when it comes to the QC labs, again, we see that effective utilization of equipments and downtime. Most of the analysts, section heads, and all these people, time is getting into the planning and tracking the resources. And the third thing is like longer sample turnaround times. And when there is a sudden sample comes in and which is of a priority, then your entire plan gets changed. Then again, requires a lot of effort in terms of manual tracking. So these are the challenges, not limited to this. This is the challenges what we have seen with the experience that what we have been gaining from the industry. So now, what should be the plan for the future? Now, one thing, you already have a manufacturing facilities that is going to address the demand. But at the same time, how is your readiness for the society demands? The future, it's been talking about even in the morning session when all the CEOs were been talking about. This is about the targeted therapies, right? And that need to be manufactured in a smaller volumes and for a smaller population. Now, when it is a larger volumes and you have the planning and everything can be manual planning or Excel driven planning or that an automated planning will help you. When there is no intelligence has been built, the managing the smaller volumes and the really going to be a big challenge. Now, to address this need, we need the organization need to have an agile manufacturing facilities, and the organizations need to go for some single-use technologies. So, to make minimizing their cleaning time and also the changeover times. So, this is something the future what the industry has been looking for. And now, when you have an automation in place, then really it is a big challenge to manage all these things. Automation is simply converting your existing process to an automated process, but it is not giving you any kind of suggestions or ideas to make your address to your future needs. Now, what is the roadmap for a digitalization? You see this, as I mentioned earlier, it's almost you have business process automation and integration, which I explained in the previous slides. You already have a good amount of automation in place. Some level of integration is required. The integrations also can be done. So coming to this is what is the next thing? Now you can get into the area of business process excellence, wherein you can talk about how you can utilize the resources effectively in the lab, and also whether it is human resources or equipments, how you are going to manage your resources effectively with some kind of tools like lab excellence. And this lab excellence, wherein you can create a campaigning model, samples, group of samples, and load them into this PLC and GC equipment. So that's where you can take really a good amount of productivity. But again, that comes with a lot of data. What products need to be campaigned, and all these things will be requiring the data that takes from the business process applications like your LIMS software. Next is we have done with one of the largest company in India, wherein instead of doing an yearly forecasting and with the numbers, we are also been doing a quarterly forecast with the actual numbers, taking it from a stockist level. Right. With this, we can able to manage it very effectively. Your planning can be more effective based on this forecasting. It also includes the targeting also. It's a sales target. This also been embedded as a part of it. So it really helps the organizations in terms of more effective planning. So the next thing is PQR. In the recent discussions, I was talking to you, one of the CEO, wherein he was been talking about, I would like to have a PQR anytime, so that I can able to before the batch get released, I would like to get some that how the behavior of this particular batch in comparison with the previous all batches. So this is what is that there is a statistical is embedded in it. So it automatically gives the real time information about this product, taking into consideration of previous batches. And there is a performance dashboards wherein you can see that how your again this performance dashboards requires the data from your production campaigning. The production campaigning wherein you can define for runner products in the large volumes, you cannot able to do the campaign. But otherwise, for another products, you can do a campaigning with clubbing certain batches. And at the same time, the system should also help you in finding out whether also checking out your inventories also. So if you do a campaign and then whether QC lab is campaigning is in line with that or not, the campaigning cycle is also to be streamlined across all the departments is one. And at the same time, it has to be checked out with an inventory. And as I mentioned, that the production campaigning from the production campaigning and the planning forecast, and I can take out the performance dashboards, how the equipment's utilization is going to be in next 1 or 2 months. So this way I can do some effective utilization of resources. And at the same time, resource utilization, here I'm talking about a human resource utilization in terms of how the batch been getting manufactured. and how many people that you need to keep it, and what time the people to be available at that particular time, and how this is a movement of the people from depending on the size of the batch and the size of the schedules, how you can relocate the people from a one plant, one particular production line to another production line. And employee skill evaluation, this is one of the very good important need wherein to keep the right people in the right place. This is really a big challenge the organizations have been facing. So which equipment and which person is really highly competitive, and those kind of things have been comes out from a skill evaluation. So these systems which I'm talking about in business process excellence, they are not going to be the systems which are going to sit on the your process automation. So these systems are going to sit on top of your automated systems like your LIMS or your learning management systems or your QMS systems. Those systems sit on top of it. So next is, once you have done this business process excellence, you are going to get a measurable benefit of with the getting some systems. Then you can get onto the predictive analytics, wherein what could be the chances of failure of an equipment. So this is at the next level that you can go with it. Then that's where we can achieve our target of Pharma 4.2, wherein we talk about how the distillation can help the pharma companies in terms of effective utilization of all the resources and also with the minimal errors. So that's something which we can able to achieve. To make you some clarity on this, when you talk about all the business process management and application, they are all going to be GMP, and it is going to be, you are standardizing your process using your automated solutions. But the business process excellence solutions is a completely change. It needs a change. The solutions completely required to be changed based on the real-time data. So that's where these systems to be dynamic. So then digital conversion can be faster and at a lesser cost. When you look at a bigger roadmap that what we are looking at, and you can go with a stepwise, and you look at you address one particular business, one particular department, and try to address it, and then move on to the next departments. Coming to this, talked about agile manufacturing facilities, and we talked about doing a very effective plannings and all. Now coming to the question is whether your technology vendor is agile or rigid. The question comes in. So what could be the technology vendor, how it should be? So that's the question again, really. Even though if you come with an idea to implement it, again, the technology plays a very important role there. And because the conversion of this, your idea into a solution. When a single manufacturing facility is catering to the multiple products, one particular manufacturing facility, if you are trying to make it and which will cater to the multiple products, I'm not talking completely purely into the biospace, and wherein I'm morely talking in terms of the generic space. Why can't technology should have a single platform to solve all the problems? Either it is a technology vendor who understands your business, understand what exactly your automation and what is your distillation roadmap. Why can't your technology vendor has got that knowledge and also have some solutions so that can really help to the cater to the majority of your business problems? What could be the right way of selecting your technology vendor? We are all into the competitive business. So obviously selecting a right vendor for the technology is really an important thing. Now coming to this, what is your vendor strategy? How you wanted your vendor to be? Is it going to be a long term, and is it going to be one application specific, or it should be a multiple lab specific? How you need to define a good vendor strategy. Move from a multiple technology platforms and to a single platform technology, and wherein we talk about some people talk about Java, some people talk about .NET, some people talk about a Python. So we use a multiple technologies, but all these particular technologies can run on a one particular structural environment. So that really makes you to help, whether it is a solution itself can cater to all these things. So that's where we talk about buzzing word nowadays in the industry is a low code, and where there is an A and ML are being embedded into it. So these low codes are going to help you in terms of having one platform to cater to the multiple business problems. Selecting a right and agile vendor who understand your business is crucial. Then you don't need to teach them about whether it is what should be your compliance requirements and all these things. They should understand what is the criticality of your business and what should be the kind of the systems that they've been built in the past in the similar kind of business. So that really helps in terms of the vendor should be agile, and also you should understand your business problem and the criticality. And the C-level executives, because what we have seen it is I have been talking to some of the CEOs in even some of the panel was earlier. I've been talking to them because the CEO is the right person who should be talking to a vendor. Vendor team is the C-level executives. They are the people who should lead the change, because they are the people who drives the process change, and who are the people who can really help the organization with their roadmap, and the vendor should be aligned with the roadmap. It should be a direction wherein we have been talking to some of the customers wherein like, why it should be a transactional, why do we pay money to you and you deliver it? Why can't it be a partner relationship? And where we gain some benefit and why can't you gain some benefit out of it? So this is the partnership models is something is really makes the vendor is also liable and also responsible and win-win situation for both the customer and the vendor. So these things are something what we'd like to share it here. Coming to this, so this is what something we've been talking in terms of when you have one platform and having said that you can cater to the multiple products and so that it will be easy for you to understand and implement the solutions faster and quicker.